Good morning, class. I hope everyone is able to hear me. Good morning, everyone. Just want to make sure everyone is able to hear me. Right. I can see the stream working very well. Perfect. So I can also hear myself. That's wonderful. So on that note, let me begin straight away with the class. Good morning, everyone. So as usual, I'm gonna continue with the current affairs sessions. But today there's actually a new topic which I'm starting. I'm starting with the current affairs from a new month, which is the one which is just ended. That is the month of November. So as usual, I will be taking up three classes. Although this time it will be a little more, maybe. I think in November there will be a minimum of four classes. As far as I can see, there will be four classes in the month of November. So let me begin immediately. But first things first, I want to give you a brief introduction on unacademy.com and our channel especially. Also, I wanted to show you, I think you can see that's already the number of slides are higher. It's more than 50 today, but that does not mean कि मैं आपको बहुत ज़्यादा bore करूँगा बहुत सारी स्लाइडों से. It's more about, shall we say, the intro is a bit longer. So I'll just show you some very important news. I'm sure you will be extremely happy to hear that. But let me begin on that. So, welcome everybody to Unacademy's YouTube page. We are India's largest online learning platform, and our channel in particular, which is Crack Management Exams. This is the one which is going to help you with, as the name suggests, all the management related examinations. It's more about. Right. So, as I said, we are the largest online learning platform. This is myself, Aritro Dasgupta, and I've been with Unacademy for almost 6 months now. Many of you have visited and loved my sessions. So, I'm an MBA in Forest Management from the Indian Institute of Forest Management in Bhopal, with specialization in the area of conservation and livelihoods. I've got over a decade's work experience in the areas of teaching, training, strategy consulting, executive recruitment, and in content writing. Most of my experience has been in India and in the Middle East, although a bit of my experience has also been in the US, where I have been published in. And of course, the last 5.5 years, I've been especially connected to the coaching industry. And during this period, rank holders to several national level examinations have been my students. Right, let's take a look at the major achievements. So, what all you will receive as part of Unacademy. First of all, there are daily live classes which you may attend to. There are also live tests and quizzes which you may um, take a look at. So, how to attend these previous classes, even the ones you've missed? This is the name of our channel, क्रैक मैनेजमेंट एग्जाम्स. तो इसको क्लिक करेंगे तो आपको पूरा वो मिल जाएगा जितनी भी पुरानी चीजें हैं. You will be able to receive all of them. There are live tests which obviously take into the whole curriculum. The course content is very well structured, and of course once you are on board, you have unlimited access basically to the sessions. This is a list of some of the key educators in our team. So you may take a look at their names, also the number of followers, the watch minutes, etc. Mm, you can see their qualifications as well. This will just show you where Unacademy stands. It's doing so well, and of course there are live classes as well. So you can see these are some of the teachers that we have, extremely well qualified. But this is how you receive notifications to the different classes. Meanwhile, this is how you receive notifications for the different batches. There are two kinds of batches which can be formed. One is for the entire syllabus, as you can see on top. The other option is for a specific subject, as you can see at the bottom of the page. तो यू कैन गो फॉर आइदर. मैंने भी एक बैच लॉन्च किया था अक्टूबर में, जिसमें करंट अफेयर्स था, स्टैटिक जी के दोनों था. तो आप लोग एक बार देख लेना उस चीज़ को. Right, let's move ahead. We also there are massive advantages of being on an academy. I told you there's a schedule that works very well. तो लाइव सेशन मिस किया, आप रिकॉर्डिंग्स देख सकते हैं, नो प्रॉब्लम, आपके पास बस डिजिटल डिवाइसेस होने चाहिए. And of course we are present in 16 different languages, so even if you're not very comfortable in a particular language, you may always check out the sessions in the other languages. You may interact with your educator anytime to get your doubts cleared. So राइट हैंड साइड में आपको दिखेगा ये लाइव चैट विंडो. तो यहाँ पे आप लोग लिखिए कुछ भी डाउट्स हो आपके, प्लीज फील फ्री टू कनेक्ट विथ मी. आई विल ऑल्सो कनेक्ट विथ यू बाय आस्किंग गिविंग यू क्विजेस. So there will be live polls on the chat window. I told you about the live tests and quizzes. What I didn't tell you then, because I wanted to tell you in detail, is that you get a detailed report and analysis per question, per topic, so that you know where exactly you stand, how far you are from the topper. So this will give you a simulated learning. There are also detailed PDFs and learning material at the end of every session. Today in the evening at 3 p.m. I have another session which is the newspaper session. तो उस सेशन में बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेल पीडीएफ होगा नहीं, for the simple reason that it's a newspaper session. Newspaper session में the newspaper itself is the highlight, तो उसमें ज़्यादा कुछ अलग से नहीं होगा. बट इस सेशन में आपके पास डिटेल्ड पीडीएफ्स है. तो अभी जो मैं सेशन लूंगा करंट अफेयर सेशन में हमेशा होता है. So do watch out for this. And tomorrow, in fact, I also have a special class on unacademy.com. So before I go to the slide which talks about all the payment structures, I want to present with you, as I said, some very important information which is about some upcoming batches. In fact, some of them have already started, but you can always join them. It's just been a day, so usually in the beginning it is merely introduction. So please feel free to join these batches. Let me show you some of these batches. There's one which starts on 21st December. Shabana, the English faculty is there. For LRDI, you have Mr. Ravi Prakash, and of course, Bharat will take your quants in that. Little bit on the profiles of these people. You may take a look at Ravi's profile. But for each of the batches, please use my code. Even if it is their batch, you can use my code, which is AD09. You can see at the bottom of this page. यहाँ पे आपको दिखेगा AD09 पे चर्चा. Wait, let me just show it to you. हाँ, ये रहा AD09. So this is my code. इसको यूज करेंगे तो आपको फ्लैट 10% ऑफ मिलेगा. So please feel free to use that one. ठीक है, तो even if it's his class or somebody else's class, any batch, but use this code of mine. This is Mr. Bharat Gupta, of course. He's an engineer, and he's also part of this group. He has over 20 years of work experience. This is Shabana, who's a verbal specialist, and as you can see, similar to me, the kind of experience, and of course, she's been a 99 percentiler multiple times in the CAT exam. This is another batch. Rishikesh, like me, is a GK faculty. Gurpreet is into quants, while also there's Shankar and there's Abhishek Anand, whom I've known for many years. Rishikesh, as I said, is the GK trainer. There is Gurpreet, who works on CAT. He has cleared several of the exams. He's an LRDI trainer. You have Mr. Shankar Jha, who is from quants. And Abhishek, as I said, he's from one of the IIMs, IIM Bangalore, also an SRCC alumnus. So he is going to teach you guys verbal here. Right. You also have on December 23rd. So कल से good news about this one is you still have a day remaining. तो कल first class start होगा, तो इस पे भी आप join कर सकते हैं. अरुण शर्मा, the legendary quants trainer, he's part of this. Abhilasha, I showed you her profile earlier. Also Aparna and Rahul are part of this group. This is Mr. Sharma's profile, considered one of the gurus of CAT. This is, of course, Abhilasha. She's a writer as well and a columnist and a poetess. This is Aparna, who is from the MDI in Gurugram. She will be taking care of LRDI. And of course, there's Rahul Anand, who will be taking care of quants. right? So these are all these, and whenever you are enrolling, as I told you, make use of this code at the bottom, which is AD09. So you will receive a flat 10% off with this. These are the packages otherwise available to you on a per month basis, so you can go for any of these. एक बार देख लीजिए इसको पूरा, फिर मैं I will discuss a couple of things with you guys on the basis of your readings. I was just checking the time. I have taken less than 10 minutes for the intro. Considering the many more new slides, I think that's a pretty decent achievement for the day, right? ठीक है, I hope सबने देख लिया. And the one thing I'm sure you guys have all noticed is that the longer term courses are much more value for money than the short term ones. So I would suggest to all of you, go for a minimum the 12-month program, or if needed the 24-month program, because that is far more valuable to this thing. Right. So basically, this was the intro. I hope you've all understood the entire thing. Now I'm going to begin with the meat of today's class, which is on November current affairs. So let's begin, everyone. November is a very important month. November is usually the month when the IFT exam is held in. This year, it got delayed for the obvious reasons, but because we are getting closer and closer to all the entrance exams which have GK, like TISNET, like ZAT, MAT, CMAT, etc. So that is why the GK becomes even more important in the recent months, because जब पेपर प्रिंट होगा तब करंट चीज़ों पे ज़्यादा ध्यान दिया जाएगा. Of course, you need to track GK from Jan 2020. That is on the safer side, but at least the present you must टेक केयर ऑफ. ठीक है, दूसरी बात है, so this of course is November current affairs. The other thing is also, when you have your group discussions, interviews, etc., because it will be in January, so सबसे ज़्यादा लोगों को recent months का ही याद रहेगा. So even the professors who will be asking you, all of them will not be geniuses who track last 12 months as GK. Genius, yeah, whatever, oh, bizarre like I am, who tracks GK for so long. So they may not be. So again, they will be asking more recent months as questions. So November becomes especially critical for all of you guys. So let's start with the first major topic. Okay, now this is New Zealand is a country which had its elections recently. New Zealand, just like the United Kingdom, is a democratic monarchy. Democratic monarchy is when the prime minister has the real legislative powers. The prime minister is elected by the people. He or she is the head of government. The head of state is the Queen of the United Kingdom. She does not have any real legislative powers, nor does she have in the UK. She's the head of state, like a rubber stamp, very similar to the president in India. So UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all these countries, she still remains the queen, a titular head. So unlike the UK, however, where the conservatives are in power, in New Zealand, it is the Labour Party which is in power. And I think the one political figure many of you would have heard with a lot of praise during the COVID-19 pandemic was the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Her name is Jacinda Ardern, and she was praised globally for her excellent handling of the COVID-19 crisis. So Jacinda Ardern confirmed as PM for the second consecutive term. And under her leadership, there is also somebody of Indian origin who has taken up a very important position. So her name is Priyanka Radhakrishnan, first person of Indian origin, another woman again. So she became a minister of the crown under the new cabinet lineup announced by Miss Ardern. Uh, Jacinda Ardern was not the only one. In fact, this whole COVID-19 pandemic proved how women leaders generally did much better. If you look at Angela Merkel, if you see the case in Taiwan, South Korea, Denmark, Finland, all these countries led by women, and they did much better than most of the rest of the world. Germany, of course, being the best example because of being a much bigger economy than all the others which I mentioned. Okay. In current affairs sessions, the beauty is that we constantly flip topics seamlessly. So there's a solar energy driven miniature train which has been built as the first of its kind in India. This was inaugurated at the Veli tourist village, which is located in the state of Kerala and its capital city of Tiruvananthapuram. So it's a solar energy driven miniature train. Miniature का मतलब है बहुत ही छोटा साइज में. ठीक है. But yeah, solar energy driven, that is the significant part. I just need to respond to one message, very important one. Just give me one moment, please. Right. Let's move ahead then. Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about a report which has come out from the CAG. What is the CAG? CAG is the Comptroller and Auditor General, and that person tends to be the highest auditor in the country. So, almost anybody in the country can be audited. I hope you know the meaning of the word audit. I think commerce students will definitely know. Audit का मतलब है, sorry, checking into the books of accounts. I can see somebody has joined this session, so welcome whoever that is. Great to have you on board. Do respond. It'll be great to connect. Right. So audit का मतलब है books of accounts check करना. At the end of every year, one needs to come up with the any registered company needs to basically get its accounts audited to ensure that all the dealings have been legal and there hasn't been any fraud or corruption. ठीक है. So CAG is the highest auditor in the country. Now, it's a new, I wouldn't call him a new appointee per se, but yes, it's a recent appointment. मतलब last 3-4 महीने हुए barely. I think August में appointment हुआ था, if I'm not wrong. So his name is Shri Girish Chandra Murmu, and by the way, he's a very famous personality. He was earlier the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, the first one after JNK was split into the two union territories of JNK and Ladakh, and after the abrogation of Article 370. So he had been the LG or Lieutenant Governor for about 9 months. Now he has been succeeded by Mr. Manoj Sinha as the LG of JNK. He, meanwhile, Mr. Chand Murmu replaces Mr. Rajiv Maharishi, whose term got over recently. So do write a hello, whoever there is. The CAG, meanwhile, has lauded West Bengal. So this is the recent report which has come up. The state of West Bengal has made massive name for itself by becoming the state with the best utilization of state funds for 2019-20. So every state in the country is provided a certain, shall we say, fund, and it is West Bengal which has got the top this thing from the CAG, and this includes a 99.62% Fiscal reconciliation. Fiscal is something to do with taxes. So there's only been a 0.38% amount not reconciliated, and there's 100% receipt reconciliation. So that is kudos to the brilliant job which is being done by the government in the state. So that is how things are going on right now. Yes, Sanchit, great to have you here. Hello. Do ask me if there are any questions that you have. So this is typically the format that I apply in my classes. You must have noticed that whenever there is a standalone topic, मैं headline वो दे देता हूँ. आपने अभी तक काफी months के current affairs attend करे होंगे. And whenever there is miscellaneous छोटे छोटे topics, तो headline मैं देता हूँ November current affairs. कभी भी कुछ major report होता है, तो उसको मैं ऊपर रखता हूँ. अच्छा चलिए, तो अभी एक इंडेक्स मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा जिसको कहा जाता है नेचर इंडेक्स. ठीक है, तो नेचर बोल के एक मैगजीन है जिसने सारे शहरों को दुनिया में रैंक किया है ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ बीइंग साइंस सिटी. साइंस सिटी का मतलब इट्स अ सिटी which encourages scientific temperament, which encourages the people to think more scientifically and not being bogged down by stereotypes or non-scientific beliefs. So these are cities providing greatest encouragement to developing a scientific temper. By the way, developing a scientific temper is listed in the Indian Constitution as directive principles, as one of the DPSPs, or the directive principles of state policy. Okay, so it's actually listed as one of the directive principles of state policy. Most likely Article 49, though I'm not sure. Generally Article 36 to 51 comes under the various DPSPs. So this has been published by the Nature magazine. Um, so Bengaluru and Kolkata are in fact the only two Indian cities in the top 100. It's not top 10. My apologies. It's actually top 100. So I'll just make the correction. Bengaluru declined from 93rd till 97. So last year Bengaluru's rank was higher. Bengaluru, remember, is where the Indian Institute of Science is located in. So obviously that is where Bengaluru should be having an advantage. Kolkata, meanwhile, is home to the ISI, or the Indian Statistical Institute. ठीक है, कोलकाता was last year 121st and this year come up to 99th. ठीक है, मैं जरा ये करेक्शन कर लेता हूँ. इट्स गुड टू करेक्ट ऑन द स्पॉट rather than waiting it out. That's what I believe in. You guys could maybe disagree, I don't know. Right. So Kolkata went up from 121st to 99th. That's a tremendous improvement. Beijing, meanwhile, topped the rankings. ठीक है. Beijing, of course, you know, the capital of China, overall rank 1. New York City came second, followed by Boston, also in the US. San Francisco, also in US, in San Francisco. So San Francisco is in California. Boston is in Massachusetts, while NYC is in the state of New York. Shanghai, another Chinese city, is fifth. So the top five completely dominated by cities from the US and China. So I'm done with the nature index rankings. Now I want to talk about what I call as India's first defense park. Right. So India's first defense park has been inaugurated in the state of Kerala, and the name of the town is Ottapallam, which is part of the Palakkad district. So a defense park means a place where all the production will be towards defense, and personnel will also be housed, and there will be training facilities as well. This has been mooted since the 2008 attack um, on coastal Maharashtra in Mumbai. Uh, it has taken a bit of time to fructify, but finally it has been developed. the development done by KINFRA. KINFRA stands for Kerala Infrastructure Development Corporation, which is a state government aided body. And it's part of two schemes. One is Make in India, which, as you are all aware, is a government scheme. There's also Make in Kerala, which is a similar scheme to Make in India, except that this is from the state, by the state government. And this has been approved by the DIPP, which stands for the Defense. Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. So this DIPP runs under the Ministry of Commerce. Right? I hope that is clear to everyone. If there are any questions, Sanchit, please feel free to ask me. And personnel will also be housed, and there will be training facilities. Government scheme. There's also Make in Kerala, which ठीक है सो ये डिपार्टमेंट है मिनिस्ट्री के अंदर अच्छा चलिए ये जो पार्क हमने जिसकी बात करी थी इसका मेन एम इज प्राइमरली दी MSMEs which is micro small and medium enterprises. However, it also looks at investments from so while the main target is MSMEs, it's like an SEZ where there'll be different manufacturing units, all of them connected in some way or the other with defense production. So it looks at investment from a lot of government organizations as well, because obviously they are the big ticket investors. You know, in order to sustain so many MSMEs, in order to ensure that there's economies of scale, you do need those big ticket investments. Let's be fair. So some of those which have already been touted to invest here are the likes of BEL, BEML, and HAL. All three are government entities. BEL stands for Bharat Electronics Limited. There's something called BHEL, which is Bharat Heavy Electronics Limited. वो अलग है, ये अलग है. ओके ग्रेट संचित, ग्रेट टू हैव यू हियर. तो क्लास करते करते अगर कभी भी डाउट हो प्लीज़ आप पूछ लेना. मैं unacademy.com पे भी क्लासेस कर सकते हैं. मैंने पुराने महीनों के बहुत क्लासेस ले रखे हैं, जनवरी से लेकर अक्टूबर तक, और बहुत बहुत सारी क्लासेस यूट्यूब में भी है. तो अगर आप सर्च करेंगे मेरे नाम पे, you will see several other sessions as well. So do feel free to join them, and you know the code, it is AD09 लिखा है नीचे. तो AD09 यूज करेंगे तो फिर आपको पूरा वो you'll get a 10% off while enrolling. This is HAL. You may have heard of this. While BEL is a general company which also works in defense manufacturing, HAL is completely into defense. So HAL का काम है प्लेन्स बनाना. आपने इंडिया के जितने भी फाइटर प्लेन्स के नाम सुने हैं, they are all built by the indigenously built ones. We import many from abroad. वो एक अलग कैटेगरी है. बट इंडिया में मेड जितनी भी मिलिट्री प्लेन्स है, they are predominantly made by HAL, which stands for Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. I have a question for you, Sanchit. Can you name any Indian fighter plane? But don't tell me Rafale. Nowadays, everyone has heard of Rafale, but Rafale is as yet, although it will be made in India, but as of now, it is not made in India. It is import from another country. I'll talk about Rafale in a while. Can you tell me any one plane built by HAL? I'm looking at one particular name जो काफी famous है, and it can actually work as a single seater. Usually, most of these fighter jets are double twin seaters, but it can also work. It can double up both as double seater or single seater. The third company is BEML. As I said, that stands for Bharat Earth Movers Limited. It's very similar to JCB, basically earth को dig करके construction create करना, something like that. So obviously these things are needed for any kind of manufacturing. Indian plane, can you tell me? I'm waiting for your answer, Sanchit. Talk about Rafale in a while. Sukhoi, very good. But Sukhoi, I believe, is of Russian origin, if I'm not wrong. We have Jaguar, which are British origin. Sukhoi is Russian origin. MiG is also Russian origin. You have Rafale, which is, I'm coming to Rafale. So the Indian made is fully इंडियन मेड तेजस. ठीक है, तो इसका नाम प्लीज देख लेना. रफाल कौन सी कंट्री से है, क्या आप मुझे बता सकते हैं? विच कंट्री इज रफाल ओरिजिनली फ्रॉम? It's pronounced as Rafale, by the way. It's not Raphael, as you know. It's not AEL. It's ALE. फ्रांस, वेरी गुड। कैन यू नेम द कंपनी फ्रॉम वेयर विच हैज बिल्ट दिस? कंट्री का नाम आपने बता दिया, वेरी गुड। अभी तक टोटल 9 प्लेन्स आए हैं फ्रॉम रफाल प्लेन्स। टेल मी विच company in France produces this. Also tell me where in India are the 9 Rafales so far posted in. पहले 5 आए थे, they spent a night in Abu Dhabi, France से आके, फिर सुबह they reached that particular city in India, and then another 4 came, same route, France से अबू धाबी, रात they spent there and सुबह इंडिया में। तो कौन से शहर में those 9 are parked in right now? Also tell me the name of the company, one of the largest aviation producers in the world. It gets tangled, these wires. 5 came to Ambala, very good. All 9 came to Ambala. All 9 right now in Ambala, which is in Haryana, the state of Haryana. Also, which company produces this? Dassault is the French company produced Rafales. Okay, so the name is Dassault. Anyway, let's move ahead further then. Okay, do help me with likes and shares. Okay, let's look at the next generation list. This is something to do with football, and one particular newspaper has brought this out. Sanchit, do you watch football by any chance? Are you a football viewer, football fan? So there's a British newspaper called The Guardian. They generally come up with this list called the best 60, the new generation 60 players. बहुत सालों से 6-7 साल हो गया they have been printing this. In fact, every year I'm really looking forward to this. They bring out 4 lists every year. The 60 of the next gen talents, 20 of the next gen talents among the English Premier League clubs, because it's a British newspaper. Also, the 10, also the 100 best footballers that year, one for male and one for female. So that's basically 4 different lists. 3 of them have already been released. The fourth one is 1/3, 1/4 done. For the male list, they brought out 71 to 100. The first 70, they're gonna do dheere dheere. Okay, so this is a list of the best young footballers from across the globe. Uh, Barcelona fan, very good. Barcelona is not doing great right now. What do you think? I mean, Barcelona को क्या करना चाहिए थोड़ा सा situation को improve करने के लिए? Any ideas from your side? So there's an Indian. He's actually plays for Punjab. His name is Bikash Yumnam. He has become the first Indian footballer to make it to this list. He's not from Punjab. He plays for Punjab. He's originally from Manipur, northeastern state. I'm sure you've heard of the fact that Northeast is very good in football right now. So if you look at the major hubs of football in India, Bengal, of course, historically the most important one. There's Kerala, there's Goa, there's also the Northeast. Couple of other states as well. Punjab to some extent, Hyderabad to some extent, Tamil Nadu to some extent, Maharashtra to some extent. But generally speaking, it is this group which is the football mad areas of India. ठीक है, so yeah, Bikash Yumnam, as I said, he is from Manipur. He plays for Punjab Football Club in the revamped Thai League. Since you're a football fan, you will love today's session because there's a lot on football today, especially Indian football. So he plays for Punjab FC, which was earlier known as Minerva. Punjab plays in they play sometimes in Mohali, sometimes in Phagwara. Mohali hoga, not Mohalia. My mistake. Let me just make the correction. Right, Sanchit? I always believe that कोई correction दिखे उसी time कर लेना सही बैठता है मेरे हिसाब से. Okay, so I don't know how much you're aware, but back when, in the late 90s and the early 2000s, Punjab में एक काफी important club होता था called JCT Phagwara. There were a couple of these cotton mills called JCT Mills. उन्हीं का football team बना JCT Mills Phagwara. Phagwara is a city in between Ludhiana and Jalandhar. ठीक है, so Ludhiana एक side, Jalandhar एक side, Phagwara बीच में. So that is the location basically. Need to work on defense, absolutely. PK and Umtiti not playing makes a situation, absolutely. Clement Lenglet is there. Lenglet is probably the more stable one. PK is not very consistent. Umtiti has suffered lots of injuries for years. Attack needs to be more focused as per young players. Yes, yes, that's correct. Messi most likely going to leave next year. I think next year Antoine Griezmann might have a big year because once Messi is out, Griezmann will become the main man. And Griezmann and Messi, they are very similar players. They tend to get into each other's way. I don't think Griezmann को खरीदना was a good decision. I think बार्सिलोना ने अपने काफी पैसे वेस्ट कर दिए नेमार को खरीदने के बाद सॉरी बेचने के बाद जो पैसे मिले. I just feel Barcelona did not utilize that money well. Spent a lot of money on Coutinho, Usman Dembele, who's forever injured, and then Griezmann. Frankie De Jong भी उतना अच्छा नहीं खेल रहा जितना he could have. But you got a couple of good young players. There's that guy called Pedri. There's Ansu Fati. These are a couple of players who I feel are really coming up. Do give me your views on that. Okay, so I now want to talk about the two Indian leagues ongoing. One is the I League, the other is the ISL. तो आई लीग 2007 में स्टार्ट हुआ था, आईएसएल 2014 में. और काफी इनमें कंफ्यूजन था कि कौन सा लीग बेटर है. तो थोड़ा सा हम हिस्ट्री समझ लेते हैं. इंडिया में अंटिल 1995 देयर वाज नो नेशनल लीग. Calcutta had a super league that was very famous. You know, the big clubs, East Bengal and Mohan Bagan, to an extent. You had Mohammedan Sporting, which was the third best. You had local leagues in different parts of the country. You also had some invitational national leagues, like national tournaments like the Durand Cup and the Rovers Cup. You had the IFA Shield. You also had the Fed Cup, which was knockouts, complete knockouts. And of course, there was the Santosh Trophy, which was state based. Very similar to Ranji Trophy in cricket, which is state based. So वो सब था, but we never had a national club based football league. So वो 1995-96 में पहली बार स्टार्ट हुआ. तब उसका नाम था NFL, not the American NFL, but the Indian National Football League, and that had teams from all over the country. It was mostly played on a double-legged basis. काफी अच्छा professional league था. But as you know, football in India not always very well developed. The costs are often quite high, and so after a period of time they were not able to sustain. Meanwhile, many other countries which was very late to football compared to India. India has very old roots in football, 19th century mein. And some of you may not be knowing this, but Durand Cup and Rovers Cup are the oldest extant football tournaments in the world, only after the FA Cup in England. So India has very old roots. 1911 mein Mohan Bagan had defeated a team of English players. India had qualified for the 1954 World Cup. We had finished fourth in the 1956 Olympics. We were Asian champions twice. तो काफी ओल्ड रूट्स है, बट बहुत सारी कंट्रीज जो लेट emerge करी, they went above us. The likes of Australia, Japan, South Korea, even China, Iran. These countries have really gone above, well above India. Iran still has older roots, but the others came very recent. ठीक है. सो जापान ने स्टार्ट किया अपना जे लीग, कोरिया ने स्टार्ट किया के लीग, ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने स्टार्ट किया ए लीग. Similarly, India started what is called the I League, and this was a club-based tournament, not franchisee-based. ठीक है. So this was the successor to the NFL. Um, so NFL was the first ever pan-India football league. बट आफ्टर द स्टार्ट ऑफ आईएसएल थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन हुआ. 2014 में आईएसएल स्टार्ट हुआ. दिस वाज एन इंडिपेंडेंट लीग. दिस हैड नथिंग टू डू विद द आई लीग, but this was a franchisee based league. So none of the old legacy teams like East Bengal, Mohan Bagan, etc., none of them were part of the ISL. This had all new franchisee based teams. So 7 8 big Indian cities, you have the bidder, whoever is the highest bidder for all these, very much like the IPL, no difference. बट आईएसएल ने एक प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट किया आई लीग के लिए. आईएसएल बिकेम वेरी पॉपुलर. इनफैक्ट द फर्स्ट ईयर सॉ अ मैसिव टर्नआउट. ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम वो टर्नआउट थोड़ा सा कम हो गया, बट इट स्टिल रिमेन्ड अ वेरी पॉपुलर लीग थैंक्स टू अ लॉट ऑफ ग्लैमर बीइंग एडेड इन, big Bollywood stars, the top industrialists, even cricketers like Saurav Ganguly. Many of them invested in the ISL. So the ISL started gaining greater importance. They were also able to attract some of the best foreign players, from abroad. Again, they are not any more the best. They are past their peak. But still, the big players, likes of the French winger Florent Malouda, Mikel Silvestre, Robert Pires, if I'm not wrong, even Didier Drogba, I think Del Piero, they all had spells, here. So that was truly impressive. सो अब इंडिया का जो फुटबॉल फेडरेशन था, जो रेगुलेटरी बॉडी था AIFF, वो थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन में आ गया. बिकॉज आई लीग वॉज टेक्निकली इंडियाज हाईएस्ट लीग. एशिया का जो सिमिलर टू यूरोप हैज यूएफए चैंपियंस लीग, एशिया हैज एन एएफसी चैंपियंस लीग. So India was sending teams from the I League, not from the ISL, but ISL teams were gaining stronger. They had bigger players. So then there was this confusion which started. So there was much talk from the AIFF कि there is no point कि दो दो लीग्स चला रहे हो, एक 4 महीने का, एक 2 महीने का. उससे भी कोई फायदा नहीं है. इंडिया का कुछ नेशनल टीम का डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो रहा. उससे आप इनको एक साथ मर्ज कर दो, ज्यादा पैसा आएगा, एंड ऑफ कोर्स थिंग्स विल गो वेल. ठीक है. बट इसमें अगेन बिकॉज द आईएसएल वाज फाइनेंशियली मोर रिवॉर्डिंग. Okay, let me just read what you've written. Yes, money wasn't well spent. That's right. Fatih and Pedri, they have a great, promising future, definitely. Okay. हाँ, तो आईएसएल के पास ज्यादा पैसा था, तो आईएसएल डिमांडेड कि उनके क्लब्स में कोई चेंज नहीं आएगा, वो टॉप डिवीजन रहेगा. आई लीग विल बी सेकंड डिवीजन. ठीक है. नाउ आई लीग में मोस्ट ऑफ द क्लब्स दे वर, एज आई सेड, फाइनेंशियली नॉट एज रिच एज आईएसएल, so there was less of a problem. But there were two clubs in the I League which were very big, and they're the two biggest clubs in India, two of the biggest in Asia, pretty wealthy with a very loyal fan base, and I'm talking of East Bengal and Mohan Bagan, the two big clubs from Kolkata. So उनको प्रॉब्लम हुआ. सो दस अ कॉम्प्रोमाइज वाज रीच्ड. सो 2020 में फाइनली द मर्जर टुक प्लेस. आई लीग इज द सेकंड डिवीजन. सो जितनी भी आई लीग की टीम्स थी वो सेकंड डिवीजन है, आईएसएल की टीम्स फर्स्ट डिवीजन में है, except one change, that is the two legacy clubs from Kolkata, that is East Bengal and Mohan Bagan. These were given a direct passage to the ISL. But then another thing is ISL already had another team from Kolkata, which is Atletico de Kolkata, which was sort of related to Atletico Madrid, from Spain. Atletico Madrid, big club from Spain. So, unka sister concern tha. Like they were the owners, part owners of this club. So, having three cities, even though Kolkata is very much football mad, but Tabhi having three clubs from the same city did not make sense. Also, a lot of people who were traditionally supporters of either of these two clubs, they would, because there is no competition back then, because it was two separate leagues. जब ISL होता था, they would support Atletico. But if they are merged, Atletico may not have many fans, but they have more money because there's a lot of investment. So क्या किया गया? Instead of three, they made it two clubs. So ATK and Mohan Bagan were merged together. East Bengal remains a separate club. So the rest will need to win promotion to the ISL in the subsequent years. So Mohan Bagan merged with Atletico de Kolkata from ISL. So to be now called ATK Mohan Bagan. ATK has the greater ownership. Around 80% of the ownership is with Atletico de Kolkata. And a lot of purists have said that how could this happen? How could such a old club now be owned 80% by a new club? I mean, this is the financial reality. Let's not joke about it. Also, इसमें कोई गलत नहीं है. I think East Bengal पहले एक time Kingfisher East Bengal कहा जाता था, और Mohan Bagan was McDowell's Mohan Bagan because of sponsorship issues. Manchester United was owned by an American. PSG is owned by a Qatari. तो I don't think इसमें कोई change है. अगर कोई दूसरे से merge हुआ हो improvement के लिए, कोई दूसरा owner हो, that doesn't change the history, massive history that Mohan Bagan has. This only adds to the glamour, I would say. So Hero is the sponsor of this year's edition. This year is the Hero I League. Now, qualifiers have already been held in order to reduce the travel, to ensure greater distancing. This year, there was a system that was created, is that instead of usually when what happens is the players travel to different cities on home and away matches. This year, it was decided to have most of the matches in the single city. So that is why it was held. Or the entire I League is to be held in Kolkata. Kolkata has multiple stadiums. You have the Kolkata Moidan, you have the Juba Bharati Kriyanangana, better known as the Salt Lake Stadium. Couple of matches can be held at the Calcutta Cricket and Football Club, couple even at the Eden Gardens. So we can manage this way. Mohammedan Sporting, which was traditionally the third biggest club from Kolkata, traditionally supported by the Muslim population of the city, while Mohan Bagan was supported by the people originally from West Bengal. East Bengal was supported by migrants from the east who migrated from the 1920s, when there were a lot of migrations took place, and of course many after the partition. That is typically how the support goes. So they have made it to the I League via the qualifiers. Mohan Bagan are the defending champions, but obviously won't play due to the merger. And I put it within quotes because it's not an exactly a promotion, but yeah, it's like a promotion to the ISL. Before I talk about the ISL, I want to tell you about the regulatory body for football in India, which is the All India Football Federation. So let's talk about them. It's a, as I said, regulatory body for all the football in India. I hope you are comfortable with the pace of the class. बहुत fast नहीं जा रहा, slow भी नहीं जा रहा. So I just hope you're comfortable with the pace. So, as I said, this is the regulatory body for football in India. It's a member of FIFA, which is the global body, and AFC, which is Asian Football Confederation. FIFA is Federation of International Football Associations. We had a class earlier, you might remember, couple of months back. I mean, couple of months back का GK, जब मैंने आपको FIFA का सब कुछ बताया था, UEFA, and I gave you the bodies for all the different continents. So this was founded in 1937 in the city of Darbhanga, which is in Bihar, and its head office is in New Delhi, in Dwarka. Actually, Dwarka is a part of southwest Delhi, near Gurugram. And the president is Praful Patel. Praful Patel is a political figure. For long, they had Priya Ranjan Dashmunshi, who's a veteran Congress leader from West Bengal, multiple times member of parliament. He had been the head for several years, but now it's Mr. Praful Patel, who is a very important leader from Maharashtra. He is, yeah, so he is, एक मिनट. Yeah, so he's a leader from the NCP, the Nationalist Congress Party, which is in power in Maharashtra right now, in alliance with the Congress, and the Shiva Sena is what is called the MVA government or Mahavikas Aghadi. ठीक है. Okay, let's move on. I want to talk about ISL. थोड़ा ज़्यादा शायद फुटबॉल हो रहा है for many of the others who are not too interested in football, but don't worry, बहुत टाइम नहीं लूंगा. अच्छा चलिए, ISL is Indian Super League. As I said, it's a franchisee based league which is run on similar lines as the IPL or the National Hockey League in Canada, USA in Canada, or the NFL, the original NFL in the US, National Football League, Major League Baseball. So while the I League was run on lines of European football leagues, the ISL was run on the basis of the franchisee based system, which is common in US, right? And now getting increasingly popular in India. So this was started in 2014. I remember I had gone to Dubai that year. I told you I had that stint in the Middle East. So tab wahin par tha, and I was really missing the ISL. And I remember I had a lot of colleagues from Kerala, so they were really routing for Kerala Blasters. I was supporting ATK, Atletico de Kolkata. So we had that friendly rivalry. That was real fun. In the end, my team won, of course. So this merged with the I League in 2020, as I said, with ISL now running as the default top division. So winners this year will qualify for the AFC Champions League. AFC, not AF. Just to make the correction, guys. AFC. एक दो mistakes मैं देखता हूँ हमेशा ही होता है class, in the first instance. Right. So I'm done with the football part, guys. Relax, all those who are not too fond of football. Okay, let's move ahead to some more miscellaneous content on the November current affairs. You can take a deep breath. We've had a long discussion on football. Okay, okay. Thank you, Sanchit. Do subscribe to my sessions on unacademy.com as well. Okay, so now starting with news from Madhya Pradesh, we have what is called the Panna National Park. Panna is a place I visited. It's a dry deciduous forest, so it's very different from, say, Badnavgarh, which is in the south, which is wet deciduous, or let's say a lot of the forests in, say, northeast India or South India, like Periyar, which are tropical forests. We have alpine forests in the north, like Jim Corbett and Rajaji, and of course you have Bengal, you have Sundarbans, and you've got Bhitarkanika in Odisha. These are known as mangrove forests. So India is such a vast, diverse country. We have different kinds of, natural beauty. So this Panna National Park, this This is in northern MP. This is next to Khajuraho. Khajuraho, very famous for its art. It's in the district of Chhatarpur. Overnight train hai Delhi se. So I would suggest all of you go ahead once. Really beautiful place. So they've recently been declared a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. What is a Biosphere Reserve? Biosphere. So you have wildlife sanctuaries which protect animals. National parks are the top level of protection, even above wildlife sanctuaries. Biosphere reserves are combinations. So you have a core belt which is national park. Uske bahar it's wildlife sanctuary. Then you have unprotected forest. There could be a certain area which is specifically protected towards one animal, maybe Project Tiger. Like Panna does have a Panna Tiger Reserve area. So the entire area is a biosphere reserve. This will also include many villages, maybe even some small towns and kasbahs, because in India we are not very sparsely populated. We are fairly densely populated, so people are there everywhere. So wo thoda sa hai. So this is very respectable now with UNESCO awarding it. That means the area will get special protection because obviously UNESCO is a UN body which takes care of a lot of these things. So this will serve as a lab to test innovative approaches to eco conservation and sustainability. Lab as in not a lab as you find in a scientific this thing, but various kinds of conservation methods will be tested to see how well it works here. So it's part of a bigger UNESCO project which is known as the Man and Biosphere Program. आप कभी पढ़ लेना इस program के बारे में because it's one of the more popular of the UNESCO programs, and they have a lot of ambitious plans to make this succeed. Sticking with forests, although it's a different topic, the Corbett Tiger Reserve, which is in the state of Uttarakhand, will now have women nature guides for the first time in its history. Corbett also is the national park with the maximum number of forests. So, Sanchit, which city do you stay in, if you don't mind sharing? Have you been to any of these national parks and what have been your experiences? Would you like to share a bit with us? Just give me a moment. I'll just be back from a bio break. आप meanwhile response लिखिए YouTube chat window पे. I'm just coming. Right, so I hope you didn't miss me too much. बहुत देर के लिए गायब नहीं था मैं. So let us now continue some more miscellaneous content on November current affairs. Let me see what you. Okay, you're from Delhi. Great. I'm from nearby. I'm from Gurugram. Visited Jim Corbett 6 years back on a school trip. It was said that they couldn't show us the tigers. Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, it's always a good thing not to look only for tigers. A lot of people irritate you, बोल के tiger दिखाओ. But that's a rather, one should enjoy the entire forest for what it is. There are lots of leopards in Jim Corbett. You have got deer, wild boar, and lots of other animals as well. So Jim Corbett generally not. I've not had great experience in terms of viewing large animals, but for birding it's very good. South Indian forests are very good for views. Elephants आपको बहुत ही आसानी से मिलेंगे South India के. If you can ever visit Nagarhole National Park in Karnataka, it'll be really worth it the travel. Right. Let's understand a few more things. The IIT in Roorkee, which is in the state of Uttarakhand, Uttarakhand is a very important academic hub, by the way. There are lots of important academic. One of the oldest engineering colleges in India, for example, was started there. Uh, so this one, in fact, was earlier a state college. Now it's an IIT. It's been upgraded. So they've developed the world's first specific, reliable bacterial biosensor to detect the presence of common environmental pollutant, which is the SDS, jiska full form. That's a scientific name. Sodium dodecyl sulfate, also known as sodium lauryl sulfate. It's a common environmental pollutant. So bacterial biosensor being developed by them. You don't get a lot of these IIT based questions, but एक आध पढ़ लेने से कोई loss नहीं होगा. Meanwhile, the state of Punjab a lot in the news right now due to the farm protests, but it's also the first Indian state in the country to celebrate a state specific no tobacco day on the 1st of November. Right? So it's called a No Tobacco Day, which is on the 1st of November. ठीक है. Tobacco generally something which is not encouraged, not at all encouraged. It's forbidden in Sikhism. Sikhism, which is the biggest religion, of course, in the state of Punjab. Um, right. Let's move ahead. You also have November current affairs. So, India's first caffeinated personal care brand, which has been declared cruelty free and vegan. So, vegan, by the way, is a lifestyle. It's not just about food. Vegetarianism is about food, but vegan includes, rejecting animal products in everything, whether it is your dressing, shall we say, in terms of the daily, basically in terms of dressing, you don't use wool, you don't use leather, and of course for food, you don't use honey, milk, any dairy products. Of course, not meat, and eggs, not fish, but also these things. So this one, lot of the cosmetics you will see there are animal products. So here in McCaffeine, you don't have any. So it's a caffeinated thing. It's a personal care brand. Right. Well, what is PETA? PETA is this has been certified by PETA, which stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and this was launched on the 1st of November, which is actually the World Vegan Day. Remember, some of you would have attended my other classes so far, all the other monthly current affairs, and you would have noticed that usually on the final current affairs class for any month, I always take up the important days and dates of this month. So this one is for this month a very important date, which is the World Vegan Day, right? So this time there'll be four classes for November, unlike the other months where we've had three each. October had one bonus session, so that's different. So there's Miss Jennifer Kumar. She's an Indian American lawyer. She's become the first South Asian woman to be elected to the New York State Assembly. This was part of the recent elections that were held. So she's the first ever woman from South Asia region, which of course also includes Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, Maldives. Yeah, these countries. Afghanistan is technically Central Asia if you look at it from a geography point of view, but they're part of SARC, so they could also be included under South Asia. Just another dozen odd slides before I go to the thank you slide. So don't worry, not going to take too long. Yeah, it's just another 11 slides, in fact. So not to worry too much. So I'm going to do this award known as the Emmett Leahy Award. What is that? Let us understand first before we talk more about it. Right. So this was started in 1967 with the idea being to encourage digital preservation. So important now. So it was important back then as well. It is sponsored every year by Preservica, which is a digital preservation company. ठीक है. And it was started by somebody उनके नाम पे ये awarded है. His name was Emmett Leahy, who was an American activist, archivist and entrepreneur. I don't know if you've heard of this word. Archivist is somebody who does archiving, means records को maintain करना. Um, so 2020 winner is Dinesh Katre, who's from the Center for Development of Advanced Computing in Pune, the CDAC, very famous institute. This year's winner is an Indian. His name is Mr. Dinesh Katre. It's Dinesh, not Dinesh. So I'll just make the correction. He actually, the reason why he won it, how he came to fame, is by developing the digital e-library for the National Cultural Audiovisual Archive. Audiovisual, as you can understand, audio and visual. Cultural is, of course, for cultural reasons. And so this is located in New Delhi. It's named Digitale e-library. You can understand, I think, which is an online library, uh, right? Yeah. Do let me know if there are any more questions which come up. So some more of the miscellaneous content I will be discussing now. Getting some phone calls. Okay, now sticking with the US elections that were held. So Neeraj Jantani, he's from the Republican Party, which obviously is the party of Donald Trump and which lost the election. They have created history by becoming, he has created history by becoming the first Indian American to be elected to the Ohio State Summit. Now, where is Ohio? You can probably look up to the map. मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ मैप्स में जाके वो बेटर रहेगा आप सबके लिए. So let it turn on. थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा. In the meanwhile, let me continue with this. So Ohio is actually home to three of the biggest cities in the US. Bigger cities, let's put it that way. Ohio is located in what an area which is broadly known as the Midwest. A lot of German immigrants, so Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania, Nebraska, the two Dakotas, North and South, to some extent the likes of Michigan and Illinois, although they are more of lake states, you know, the Great Lakes, the two I mentioned, but generally this is you know, that particular belt. So three of the big cities. I'm sure you've heard of Cincinnati. You may have heard of Cleveland. Any basketball fans? There's this team called Cleveland Cavaliers. There's also Columbus, which is of course named after the person who discovered America. So let me just show you a couple of these cities. Cleveland in Ohio, उसका मैं डायरेक्शन आपको दिखाता हूँ फिर आपको बेटर समझ आएगा. सो क्लीवलैंड का डायरेक्शन फ्रॉम सिंसिनेटी. यूएस में हर चीज गाड़ी में दिखाना पड़ता है बिकॉज यूएस डज नॉट हैव गुड पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अदरवाइज. ठीक है. सो सिंसिनेटी टू क्लीवलैंड. Cleveland is in the absolute north and Cincinnati beach में आता है. You can see Columbus beach में. These are the three big cities of Ohio. Just to give you a broader picture कि कहाँ पे located है, मैं इसको आपको किसी दूर के एरिया से दिखाता हूँ, so that you really from a prominent landmark. Since all of you are aware of New York City, तो New York City से दिखाते हैं. New York City is on the corner and this is Cleveland, this is Cincinnati. ठीक है. This is Pittsburgh, which is of course in Pennsylvania. Two other big cities, Philadelphia and Baltimore, DC. And you have Detroit here. थोड़ा और north जाएंगे तो you will get the city of Chicago. ठीक है. This is Milwaukee and Chicago, both in Illinois, of course. I think Milwaukee is in Wisconsin. This is in Michigan, considered the coldest state of नॉर्थ अमेरिका ऑफ यूएसए. अच्छा, मैं यहाँ पे लॉस एंजलिस से दिखाता हूँ, उसमें और बेटर आपको दिखेगा. लॉस एंजलिस. राइट. सो नाउ एवरीवन हैज अ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ वेयर वी आर. ठीक है. ये रहा ओहायो. दिस इज द स्टेट ऑफ ओहायो. This is the northeastern corner of USA. This is the middle, and this is, of course, the western side with the IT states of California, Washington, etc. This area is known as the Midwest. It was among the first states, apart from the Northeast, which were explored by the explorers, right? The likes of Missouri as well, Oklahoma, all of them can come under. ठीक है. Beautiful country, US. Uh, right. Okay, Kerala is actually the first state in India to launch a royalty for paddy fields. So paddy fields में कुछ भी production हो non paddy, and if somebody does a bit of contract farming, then paddy cultivation के लिए ये promote होगा, और इसका rate है 2,000 रुपए per hectare. This is to boost paddy cultivation. And of course, we have this award known as the Shri Shakti Award, which is organized by my government, which is an app. This has been in collaboration with UN Women. So this year, 6 Indian women have won this award, and I will, in the over the next two slides, show you who are those 6 Indian women and what organizations have they started, and what are the key developments they have developed, because of which they are they have won this award. I should add, actually, one by 6 Indian women. Chaliए, women led startups from India, that should be fine as well. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. अब मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ आगे का. So just take a look who are the key winners of this, but before that let me just connect the charger. Mm, right, Sanchit? मुझे 1 मिनट टाइम दीजिए, मैं जरा चार्जर कनेक्ट करता हूँ. Right. Right. So are you there? The charger did get connected. So now we can start. So I'm going to show you who are the 6 Indian women to have been presented with this award. So take a look. These are the winners, and in the next six, they are the three promise. Next slide, they're the promising. So these three startups, they are the promising solutions, and these three startups are the winners. Three startups, the number of winners are four, because one startup has two founders. Same here as well, the third one has two. Anyway, let's understand. So the first one is Miss Gayatri Hela, P Gayatri Hela, who's the founder of Reseda Life Sciences, which has developed non-alcoholic hand sanitizer. There's also Miss Romita Ghosh. She runs the organization I Heal, which has developed sterilizers to reuse PPE kits and disposables. Very important, because obviously you guys can understand a lot of these, shall we say, give me a moment, please. You know how at the beginning of the pandemic we all started using these PPEs, and what we did realize during this period was that they were all often one-time usage. They would be use and throw. So that was a bit of a problematic thing, because that would only lead to greater pollution. The very reason why we are having a pandemic is often being cited as climate change and pollution, the fact that we are destroying forests. So उल्टा this इससे और ज़्यादा ये सब problems बढ़ जाते हैं. So that is why there was this thought that to stop this, and it's a great thing her organization has done something similar. Meanwhile, it is a couple more startups which have also been awarded for something similar. Sorry. Right. So who are they? Let's understand. The first one is Miss Vasanti Palanivel. She's the founder of Seragen Biotherapeutics. Which is what? It's a plasma solution to treat respiratory distress. There's also Miss Shivi Kapil, who has started the Empathy Design Labs. Their innovation also has a name. In fact, it's called Kriya, which is a wearable device for regular monitoring of pregnancy. And finally, we have Stream Minds, started by the duo of Jaya and Ankita Parashar. Their device, like the previous one, also has a name. It's called Dobo, which is a fully automated robo that also acts as in house delivery assistant to ensure that hospitals and healthcare clinics are safe from the COVID 19 risks. ठीक है? Let's understand a few more things on the November current affairs. Sanchit, do let me know in case you have any questions on any of these points that we've stated so far. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So Indian Army's Chief General, the Chief of the Indian Army, General Mukund Naravane, Manoj Mukund Naravane, he has been conferred with the honorary rank of General of the Nepal Army. So there has been a lot of Indo-Nepal wrangling in recent months regarding the Lipulek Pass, for instance. However, that is just a slight hiccup. The relations between these two countries has for long been very strong as neighbors. So, in fact, whoever is the chief of the Indian Army is conferred the honorary rank of general in the Nepal Army, because Nepal is a Bhutan is a protectorate of India. Nepal not completely so, but there are some of these treaties for India to protect Nepal in case of any external conflict. It's actually a decades old military tradition that reflects the strong ties between the two countries. And who's the president? She's the one who actually conferred this award. Her name is Miss Bidya Devi Bhandari. Bhandari. So she's the first ever female president of Nepal. Remember, Nepal in 2006, till 2006, it was an absolute monarchy. So since 2006, they've had these different forms of democracy. 2016, they had a new constitution which was etched, and she has become the first woman president of the country. I had discussed this in brief in the last class as well, the last month as well. So his name is Sri Yashvardhan Kumar Sinha. He has been appointed as the new CIC, which stands for Chief Information Commissioner. Very important post right now, because obviously information is everywhere, but what is the right information, what is wrong is very significant. So they are the ones who handle all kinds of intelligence and information within the boundaries of the country. So nothing to do with external relations, but external intelligence, but within India. All kinds of information that is disseminated to the general public. Right. Some more of the miscellaneous content. So I'm sure you've all heard of Gully Boy, which did win several awards last year. So this is back the best original music award for the musician Karsh Kale. Also his studio known as the Salvage Audio Collective. This was part of the 14th annual Asian Film Awards. This, in this award, this year it was held all digital, all virtual. Usually you guys have to remember कहाँ हुआ था. इस साल आप लोगों के लिए एक काम बहुत बच गया है. So Parasite is from South Korea, which did win the Oscar as well for the best foreign picture as well as the best overall picture. First time a Korean film won such an award. So yes, no surprise, they also won the best picture at the annual Asian Film Awards. The Prime Minister of our country, Shri Narendra Modi, he led the Indian delegation to the 20th summit of the SCO Council of Heads of States. This was held virtually on the 10th of November. There was a later event on 30th November, which was headed by the Vice President, Shri Venkaya Naidu, but this particular one was headed by Mr. Modi himself. You know, we've discussed SCO several times in the past. There are total 8 member states in the SCO. Total of 8 member states in the SCO. India have joined the organization in 2017 along with Pakistan. I'll just make another correction, which is South Korea. Somehow a lot of errors today, but ठीक है, these are all chota mota errors. I can console myself. चलिए. So just another 4 slides remaining, 4 to 5 slides remaining. उसके बाद I have the thank you slide. So another important standalone topic now. This is to do with environment and climate change. So Sanchit and all the others who watch this session, do remember that climate change is an extremely important topic in today's world, and it there's a strong likelihood that wherever you have your interview, or GD or VAT or extempore, climate change will be an important background against which you will be given a topic. So you need to have strong views. Either way, you could actually disagree. I have no problem. Donald Trump, the world's most powerful man, he still remains the president of US. He believes that climate change is a hoax. So it's up to you. I hope you don't believe it's a hoax, because it is. Believe me, it's not. But the beauty of a group discussion or a VAT is that you can choose either side, as long as you have the right facts and figures or the right logic. So you need to know some of the trends that have taken place. Palau is a small country in the South Pacific. It's near Philippines. Philippines, of course, is in Southeast Asia, so not very close, but yeah, it's relatively close. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's an ocean, pristine ocean, where fishing is the main industry and tourism. Very expensive tourism takes place in these countries because they're in the middle of nowhere. You can't have mass tourism, you don't have such massive infrastructure. Country's population would be, I think, less than a lakh of people. I'm not really sure. And in fact, Palau was in the news a couple of years back when it became the first country to ban reef toxic sunscreen lotions, that all kinds of moisturizers and soaps. So any cosmetics, हम लोग जब साबुन लगाते हैं, साबुन के बाद जब नहाते हैं, हम लोग शायद साफ हो जाते हैं, but that it seeps into the water level, because these are all chemicals. Ultimately, they all have some form of chemical. So in a fragile environment like Palau, which is in the middle of the ocean, eventually when it goes out and it touches the the coral reefs, that can create a lot of problem. So that bleaching wala jo issue hai, jo worldwide chal raha hai, Great Barrier Reef, very famous, of Australia, that is on the verge of dying. It's really struggling for survival, unless your generation does something. My generation seems to have given up. So the Republic of Palau, it's setting out to be becoming the world's first carbon neutral country. Bhutan to some extent is, but maybe not completely. Palau wants to do that. So there's a Palau pledge for environment which is now being taken up. It is compulsory for all visitors. केन्या में जाओगे तो आपको येलो फीवर वैक्सीन चाहिए, बाकी देशों में जाओगे आपको कोविड टेस्ट होगा, बट यहाँ पे इट यू नीड टू हैव दिस Palau pledge for environment. Palau supports two major international treaties for environmental protection. One is called the ICDF, the other is the COF. ICDF stands for International Cooperation and Development Fund, and the COF is for Coalition of Fragile Ecosystems. This COFE is one where Palau is a key member. So it's a small, tiny country, but already playing such a massive role, punching above its weight in global politics in this way. ठीक है, okay, let's move into some more miscellaneous content. I hope I'm not putting too much of content. धीरे धीरे करिए, लिख लीजिए, फिर आपको याद रहेगा. अच्छा, उत्तर प्रदेश स्टेट में एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज हुआ है. नाउ देयर इज अ बॉडी कॉल्ड एनसीएलटी, which is basically the top court. That and the NCLAT, they have different purposes. I'll talk about the differences some other day. But the NCLT stands for the National Company Law Tribunal. NCLAT is the same, just one word added, the Appellate, National Company Law Appellate Tribunal. These are basically the highest courts, the apex courts dealing with company laws, all corporate related disputes and dispute resolution as well. Just like there's the NGT, which is the apex court for all environment based cases, the National Green Tribunal. This one looks into company law kind of cases. So we have the Uttar Pradesh State Mineral Development Corporation. So the NCLT has dissolved several companies in the past, but this becomes the first public sector undertaking, a PSU. They are usually much better protected. And it's not just the first PSU, it's the first state-based PSU. So we have national PSUs like BHEL, NTPC, Power Grid, SAIL, ONGC, IOC, etc. This one, on the other hand, is a state-based this thing, UPSMDC, which has been dissolved as per the company law. So that's the interesting part. So, moving completely to a different direction and a different part of the world. From Uttar Pradesh, I'm gonna move to Scotland, which is, of course, part of the United Kingdom, land famous for its whiskies. So, Scotland has become the first state in the UK to impose a ban on smacking children. So, smacking, matlab hitting children, which has for long been considered, spare the rod, spoil the child. It was always believed that you need a bit of hitting, to discipline children. That is something Scotland has gone against. They have imposed a complete ban on smacking children. Okay, so this can be debated. This is something which we can always discuss. Sanchit, do you think it's a good decision? And my question is, do you think India should do such a thing? India may not be able to do, but Indian states individually might start doing such a thing. Would you agree? Do you think that thoda sa, abhi, you were a kid, say 20 years back, 15 years back, your parents would, okay, on occasion have slapped you once or twice? I mean, it's natural, maybe once or twice. Um we've always believed that it's part of discipline, part of growing up. Otherwise, you don't fear anyone. So, what is your belief? Please let me know. What do you think of this? So, we can have a discussion, a group discussion on this sometime. Okay, there's something called a Dobra Chanti Bridge. This is an important question. Please mark a star because this can be one of the important things asked in the next couple of exams. So, what is the Dobra Chanti Bridge? Let us understand. It is now India's, now this is very important, as I said, India's longest single lane motorable suspension bridge. What is a suspension bridge? थोड़ा सा समझिए please. एक होता है cantilever bridge. So, Sanchit, you may have visited Kolkata or seen the pictures. और in fact, कोलकाता छोड़ो, even दिल्ली में आपने फ्लाईओवर्स देखे हैं. उनके नीचे आपको एक सॉलिड बेस दिखेगा कंक्रीट का. एंड उसके ऊपर कुछ भी गाड़ी जा सकती है, गाड़ी, ट्रक, बस, जो भी है. ठीक है, बिकॉज दैट सॉलिड, द रॉक सॉलिड, एंड सो दे डोंट रियली गेट spoiled. On the other hand, you have सस्पेंशन ब्रिज में बहुत ज्यादा ट्रैवलिंग पॉसिबल नहीं है. इट्स सिंगल लेन, एज यू कैन सी. एक साइड से दूसरे साइड इट इज बीम्ड लिटरली. ठीक है, उतना सॉलिड नहीं होता, कंक्रीट का नहीं बना होता. तो एक साइड ये है पहाड़ का, ये दूसरी साइड है. यहां से मैंने लिटरली बीम कर दिया. यहाँ पे कुछ पॉइंट्स है, दे विल जस्ट कैच देम. द टू विल अट्रैक्ट. इट्स लाइक literally, क्या बोलते हैं, hanging, but solidly hanging, because these two sides, they are very strong. So गाड़ियां जा सकती है, but not the heaviest ones, and not more than a few at a time, and only a single lane. So this is the longest so far which has been created. ठीक है, right. Right. Let me see. India can take a step towards it, but it would have same impact as child marriage. People know it is wrong, but it seems justified to some sort of people. Absolutely agree. Very good point. So unanimous decisions cannot be taken. That's right. We have so many, in spite of that, we have a lot of child marriages and so many other problems. So that is really sad. Yeah, it's really good to see your analytical answer. So, Sanchit, did you go for CAT this year, or are you looking at CAT next year? So, this was inaugurated in Uttarakhand's Tehri Garhwal district. It is 725 meters long, and it connects Tehri Garhwal to Pratap Nagar. Okay, so inaugurated in Uttarakhand's Tehri Garhwal district, and it is 725 meters long. It connects Tehri Garhwal to Pratap Nagar. ठीक है, so almost 1 kilometer, 3/4 of a kilometer, as you can see, 725 meters. This was inaugurated by the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Shri Trivendra Singh Rawat. Now, he became the Chief Minister in 2017. Uttarakhand has had a very interesting political history since it separated from Uttar Pradesh. And okay, let me ask you one important, interesting GK question. Let me write it down for you. Um, Only Chief Minister to be CM of two different states. Only person in India, of course, I'm talking of the Indian case, only person to be CM of two different states. Let's see if you can answer. I have given cat and still giving. Okay, very good, Sanchit. So, Sanchit, have you taken any cue of your predicted score? कितना आपका score बन रहा है अभी तक? उससे थोड़ा आइडिया लगेगा क्या परसेंटाइल आ रहा है, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कॉलेजेस टू अप्लाई फॉर. So do attend my classes regularly from now on. Until now, your main focus was on quants, on reasoning, on English. But the next couple of months, GK should be very important because obviously you will be handling a lot of student queries. You will be part of interviews, group discussions. तो जितना आपका knowledge हो, the better you can speak, the better you can write, you will do far better than the rest of your competition. So GK पे बहुत ध्यान देना है अगले कुछ महीने. मैंने कुछ classes लिए हैं on essentials to keep in mind for a group discussion, for an interview. तो do look into those aspects as well. Uh, okay, let's see if you can answer. Only person to be CM of two different states. In a way, it is related to this question. Not to this question, but मैंने जो आपको last बताया, the interesting political history of Uttarakhand. तो उस context में ये relevant है. So let me see if you can answer this. No, I'm waiting for the rest of exams to get over. Okay, okay, cool. Predicted percentile आया है काफी जगहों में. Okay, so I'll answer the question which I had asked. Okay, no problem. His name is N.D. Tiwari from the Congress, CM of both UP and Uttarakhand. UK मैं लिख रहा हूँ in short. ठीक है. So 1989 he 1980 till 1989 he was the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. He was till date the last chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. Since 89, it has been the Janta Dal, of course, that later on became primarily the Samajwadi Party. So all the CMs have either been from the Samajwadi Party, the Bahujan Samaj Party, or the Bharatiya Janata Party. He was the last Congress CM of Uttar Pradesh. But in 2000s, when Uttar Pradesh से Uttarakhand अलग हुआ, उस time in that belt of the hills, the Congress had the maximum number of seats, which is why the first CM of Uttarakhand new state was then known as Uttaranchal. It was Mr. N.D. Tiwari, becoming the first chief minister of two different states. ठीक है. Now, since after that, I think in 2002 Congress won, but from 2007 onwards there has been a constant change. 2007 it was the BJP, 12 it was the Congress, 17 again the BJP, 2002 was Congress, of course. So and most of the opinion polls point towards a comfortable Congress victory the next time. Many of the opinion, not opinion poll per se, but that is something which a lot of people believe, because just like Rajasthan, just like Kerala and Himachal Pradesh, near Himachal Pradesh, you always have changes in these states. Unlike some states which are steadfastly loyal to their leaders, like Bihar, Gujarat, West Bengal, Assam to an extent, they tend to be loyal to one leader for a couple of terms at least before changing. And once they change, they stay on with that. Madhya Pradesh, I think, another example. The present CM has been there for a long time. It's his fourth term. Right. Anyway, moving on to the next topic, the second last slide of the day, which is the IMVWSP, which stands for the Integrated Multi-Village Water Supply Project, which is India's first solar-based IMVWSP, has been inaugurated in Arunachal Pradesh in the lower Dibang district. Arunachal is a pretty big state in terms of size, but very sparsely populated. In fact, India's most sparsely, least densely populated state. On the other hand is Bihar, which has the highest density of population. Okay, so this has been inaugurated by the Union Jal Shakti Minister, Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat. Mr. Shekhawat is a very strong leader from Rajasthan. He's a BJP MP in the Lok Sabha, as you know, from Rajasthan. So he's the one who inaugurated this very interesting project, which is based on solar energy. Right. Let's continue then. Okay. Let's continue with the November current affairs. This is the last slide of the day before I go to the thank you slide. Thank you slide is very important because that's where we discuss the end notes. Right. So, Joe Biden, he defeated Donald Trump to become the 46th president of the United States. Donald Trump, only the third in the last century to not win a second consecutive term. The George Bush Sr., Jimmy Carter were two of the other recent members of that uh, club. At 77, he's actually the oldest ever to take oath the first time. Meanwhile, the armed forces they conducted a tri-service exercise. So you see how I'm flipping the topic. It's called Bull Strike, which was conducted on Teresa Island, which is in the Nicobar group of islands. Nicobar is obviously the deep south of Indian littoral territory. It's located close to the strategic Strait of Malacca in Southeast Asia. Strait of Malacca is strategic because of its location. A strait is a water body which connects two major water bodies, narrow strip of water connect between two land masses, just like the Pok Strait between India and Sri Lanka. This is between mainland Asia and the Indonesian island of Sumatra. And the very famous island nation, city state of Singapore, is located within Malacca, the Strait of Malacca. In fact, the Singapore's original claim to a lot of its prosperity is its location because it is a global hub for shipping. Now, of course, Singapore has diversified into many other things, but originally its greatest asset was its location in one of the busiest shipping hubs. So that is why conducting this here is particularly crucial because this shows India in a very strong position where we can actually take care of multiple issues, right? So the military is protecting a very important stretch of land which can other water which can otherwise be vulnerable to piracy and all other sorts of crimes. In fact, yesterday's newspaper, I did the newspaper reading yesterday. उसमें भी मैंने बताया था how India is planning with 7 8 other countries to create a radar for the Indian Ocean region. ठीक है. So I have another class today at 3 p.m. Sanchit, please do not miss that. That will be the newspaper reading for today. I'm gonna analyze the Hindu newspaper as usual. So till then, this is my thank you slide. Of course, this is my code 8009. Do make use of it. You will get a flat 10% off. ठीक है. Do like my session. I think you've already done that. Share it with your friends who are going for similar exams and who now require a lot of GK. Do subscribe to my session on unacademy.com. And so that was pretty much it. I have shown you some of the new batches which are being launched. So I'm going to keep the session open for a couple of minutes in case you have any questions. Feel free to ask any of the other questions which you may have. ठीक है, so I'll just wait it out till then. Right. Let me see if you have any questions. Uh, Okay, thank you, Sanchit. Great to see your remark. Yes, will be great if you can share it with your friends. Do share this link as well, and you can explore many other sessions of mine. आप मेरा नाम check कीजिए Unacademy में. You will be able to see many of the past sessions. So, wonderful interacting with you. Do visit my session at 3 p.m. So, see you till then. Thank you so much. I will close it for now. Thank you.